and we're going to talk about really how to create a vision for money. That's really what it's all about, right? Purpose driven. What does that mean? A lot of times we go out and I'm going to talk about this in a little bit more in depth later. We talk about money. Oh, I want to make money. 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 Right? But we never talk about why. Like we never give the money a purpose. We never give money a reason. And if we do, we give money a reason for, oh, I gotta eat. Oh, I gotta pay my mortgage. Oh, I gotta pay my rent. But we don't go anywhere beyond that. And that's what I want to talk about today in this masterclass. And really, in your business, think about why you want to be in business. What is the purpose of you being in business? It's all tied together. And that's what I want to bring to you today. It's all tied together. It's not separate. And one of the things I've learned as an entrepreneur, I've been there, right? Why would I be teaching this? Because I've done it. I've said to myself that I want to make money. I want to make money to travel. I want to make money. And yes, those things are all good. But today we're going to really lean into a little bit more, a little bit more. I'm going to also recommend a book for you to read. I pulled mine out, so I'm going to be reading it with you. So I'm going to recommend a book for you to read that is super, super empowering and enlightening, actually. And it's so simple to read. It's going to be a quick read. You will be like, oh my God, nobody ever told me this before. Great. That's my purpose. That's my purpose. My purpose on this masterclass is to bring you information, hopefully, that you've never heard before. And if you heard it before, it's reiterating what it means. And now this time you're going to take it, use it, and implement it and get a different result. All right. So we're going to get started. And by the way, I'm not a Zoom techie, so this whole Zoom thing doesn't really work for me sometimes. So give me 1 second. Let me move things around on my screen so that I can get what I want on that screen. Okay. Can you see my screen yet? Or are you just seeing me? Can't see my screen. Okay, great. Alrighty then. Give me 1 second. Shared screen. And I want to share this screen. And I'm going to share here. All right. How is that this time? Great.
Perfect.
Amazing. All you gotta do is just try it out. Great. All right. Welcome to the Freedom Wealth Masterclass. My name is Lorna Sherland, and I am a transformation and leadership coach, and I'm also a business strategist and a real estate broker by trade. So why should you listen to me? Because I've been doing this forever. And I've been through a lot of things that I am so super excited to share with you. And here's the thing. One of the things I've learned along this journey is that everybody who has made it in life has gone through a bunch of ups and downs, right? And the thing is, the ones who come out on the other side are the ones that are really, really really purpose driven to support other people who are coming along and going through the things, and we want to bring them through easier. Everybody gets to go through, right? To come through on the other side. So it all depends on how you look at the challenges that you're facing in life. And my purpose is to empower 1 million female entrepreneurs into financial freedom so that they can create time and money freedom to create legacies with their family. That is my mission. And I've been on this journey for over 20 years in real estate. Thank you. For over 20 years in real estate and just about over 6 years in the transformation world. So I am super excited to be here with you today. and to share with you some of my knowledge. Now, this is a short masterclass, so it's not going to give you everything. And at the end of this masterclass, I'm going to be making you an offer to join my mastermind. So whatever you take away from here today, I hope that it supports. My intention is to support you in your life and your business in this short period of time. And I'm also going to give you an offer to work with me later on today. Okay. So you want to hear a thing? A lot of people don't tell you that they have an offer. Well, this masterclass has an offer. That's why I'm telling you up front, there is an offer. Okay. And you get to decide to stay or to leave. But what my intention is to serve you today. So in this masterclass, you're going to hear a couple of strategies to create purpose-driven money. And again, you may have heard the strategies before, but I want to embellish them a little bit more so that you take action on them, right? Here's the thing. Your mindset gets to change because so far you've gotten to where you've gotten with the mindset you have right now. Now I want to give you more so that you can shift that mindset to get something different, right? So you're going to hear about what is purpose-driven money. I told you a little bit about that earlier when I just started. And you're also going to hear why it's important. It's super important that you give money a purpose. You're going to learn how to attract the clients that you need to create that money and how to build your business profitably. It's kind of simple, but nobody tells us, right? And how to stay connected to your community so that you get reoccurring clients, reoccurring referrals. You know, I'm in the real estate business as well, right? And let me show you how reoccurring money works. Fresh off the press. Yesterday, I'm sitting here and I'm working on this masterclass for you guys, and I see a scheduled appointment. So I thought it was for a coaching client, right? And come to find out, when we got on the call, the young lady who came on was actually a referral from a client that I sold a house to just around Christmas time. She scheduled a call. She wants me to be her buyer's agent. I get to find her a property, right? So who was I being to her friends, who, by the way, have been best friends. She's been best friends with my clients since they were kids. She's like 35, 40 years old, an attorney, okay, in New York. And she's calling me to support her to find her house because of how I was being with my client who referred her to me. See how that works? So we're going to talk about that because a lot of people think that we have to do a ton of advertising. Yes, we do for business. And the other piece of it is who we are for our clients. Okay. So I'm jumping ahead of myself because I'm so excited. All right. Okay. We talked about your mindset. All right. Now, let me ask you a question. What has stopped you? What do you think? I'm not going to tell you. And I hope you have pen and paper. Write it down. Write down the answer to this question because you get to see it on paper for yourself. Think about it, right? And see it on paper for yourself. What has stopped you so far from creating purpose-driven money? Remember, I gave you a small definition of purpose-driven money, right? Purpose-driven money is money with a purpose. When I say money with a purpose, I mean, what is the purpose of the money beyond you? Beyond you. That is purpose-driven money. What is the purpose of the money beyond you? Who do you get to serve beyond you, your four, and no more? Who do you get to serve beyond that? I'll tell you, for me, one of the biggest things that's on it's not a wish list. It's not a to-do list either. That's what's coming up. But one of the things that I want to do this year is to support my church with a huge check. What's that check for? It's for the audio in our church. It's been going bonkers, and I get to deal with that every Sunday when I serve, and it drives me nuts. So that money has a purpose. What that money that I get to generate from my clients, as I serve them, gets to go towards my church and its vision and mission to reach, I don't even know. I think he said, I don't think he put a number on it, but my church's mission and vision is to serve the Hudson Valley, New York, creating community and building leaders in our church. That's our vision statement, actually, right? So you see how that works? The money has to have something that's going to drive you to create it, so that when you get into days that you don't feel like it, pain in your body, all this stuff that's going on, or life is happening, it's going to be the thing that brings you up, that says, okay, I have this thing that I want to do. I get to create that money to do that thing. So how am I going to show up in order for that thing to happen? See how it works? So that's what I want to ask you. So what's been stopping you so far up until now from creating that money? What's been stopping you? And here's the thing, think about it this way as well. Even if you didn't know what purpose-driven money was, what's been stopping you so far from creating the money that you say you want? Think about it and write it down. What's been stopping you so far from creating the money that you say you want? And if you want to put it in the chat, you can put it in the chat so I can see it and I can support you through it as well today. Because here's what I know. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So the fact that you're here today is telling me that you are ready for a change. You are ready for something different. You are ready to make the difference that you were brought here to make. And I want to support you in that. And so Benjamin Hardy says, to have what you want, you must give up what's holding you back. It's a must. It's not a maybe. It's not a have to, but it's a must. Right? Because it hasn't served you so far. It has not served you so far. And don't get me wrong, you have done a fabulous job to get to where you are right now. An amazing job. And here's why I'm here today, to tell you that there's so much more. You are meant for so much more. When I was writing this this masterclass, that phrase kept coming up. Me, myself, and no more. Or you, you're for, and no more. And we get to live beyond that now, especially with what's going on in this economy, right? This morning I heard somebody ask a question. Well, when is what is the Feds talking about when they're talking about the monetary restraints that they're going to put on this country? Meaning that the money's soon going to have no value. So that's why it's so super important now that we even more than ever create money now with a purpose, especially since pretty soon it won't have value. And I don't know where that's going to lead us. I have no clue. I'm thinking maybe we're going to go back to the gold standards. Well, who has the gold, right? There are only a few people in the world who have gold, right? Because we're not mining gold. We stopped mining gold since what, 1974, when Nixon stopped the gold standards or something, right? We're not doing that anymore. So what's next? What's next for us, right? And this brings me to a point that I didn't even think up until just now, and I'll stick it in here because I think it's relevant. When Bitcoin came around, everybody was like, "Oh no, Bitcoin is fake money." Da 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 da. Well, with what is happening in this world and this country right now, I would bet you that Bitcoin is going to become the thing, right? Because if everybody's moving away from the paper money, and the dollar, the American dollar, is being devalued so much, there has to be another plan, right? And what would that plan be? Right now, nobody's focused on what I'm saying right now because everybody's focused on Donald Trump being indicted, right? So everybody forgot about inflation for the moment. You know what I mean? So I'm here to presence it back to you that you gotta give your money purpose so that you stay focused on the things you need to stay focused on and don't get sidetracked by down the rabbit hole by everything else that's going on in this world. Okay? Is that a promise? Yes? All right. So again, to have what you want, you must give up what's holding you back. So my question to you is, what's holding you back? What's holding you back? What's holding you back from creating the money and the life that you say that you want? Maybe you've never asked yourself that question. So, and today I'm inviting you into asking that question. Because here's the thing, we are all doers. we can grind for money like nobody's business, right? And I'm Jamaican. So I'm, oh girl, yes, can I grind for money? Right? Because in our culture, back Jamaicans, we're noted for having 5 to 10 jobs, not one job. That's the hustle, that's the grind, right? So we can do money very well. But what if we changed our mindset around the doing of the money? Yes, you still get to do, but what if we changed our mindset around the doing of it, right? And the hoarding of it, right? Because that's another conversation, okay? Because we tend to hoard money. And here's what I've learned about money is that money is currency, so it gets to move. So hoarding dollars is not a good idea, right? So hoarding, for doing different energies, right? Those are energies that are rough energies, that are restrictive energies, right? Whereas intentional, being intentional around creating purpose driven money creates a different energy, creates an energy of flow, it creates an energy of camaraderie, creates an energy of communication, it creates an energy of moving things along, simply said. And you can hear just by my tone, right? And I'm not even flexing my tone, but just the words that I'm using, you can hear how the money gets to move differently when you think about it differently. So let's say you have a brick and mortar business. It still applies, right? You have a brick and mortar business. Most people, they start a business, and we're going to talk about vision, right? They start a business because they got to make money. Hear it? They got to make money. And that's the wrong mindset, in my opinion. What do you think? Because if you go into business thinking, oh, I gotta make money, right? And it's not, again, intentional. You gotta make money because you gotta pay the bill. You gotta pay for the lease on the building. You gotta pay for the products that you're gonna bring into the building. You, whether it's furniture, food, restaurant, whatever it is, you gotta pay for all of that. You gotta. Well, what if we changed our mindset around that? What if we changed our mindset around that and made it such that, and work with me on this in your own business, whatever it is, whether it's a brick and mortar, a real estate company, a coaching company, um, you know, fitness company, if you own one of those, Orange Theory or whatever it is, think about this. What if you change your mindset and instead of thinking, I gotta, I gotta, and change it to, huh, instead of how much money do I have to get into how many people can I serve? How many people can I serve? That is my thing for 2023. How many women can I serve? If I get to affect 1 million female entrepreneurs for the rest of my lifetime, how many people How many female entrepreneurs can I impact this month? How many female entrepreneurs can I impact this quarter? How many female entrepreneurs can I impact this year? And so on. How does that feel? If you say that to yourself, how does that feel? As opposed to, I gotta earn, I need, $100,000 this month to make the bills. I need $100,000 this month to make sure I get paid. It's a different energy. It's a different come from. I had a mentor a couple of years back, and she used to always talk to me about come from. I never understood it until I walked into this transformation world, when I understood that where I stand in looking at my client that I get to serve really propels me to how I serve them. You know, I'm going to say this all the time because I didn't understand it before. And it's a journey, right? You learn this stuff as you go along, you learn this stuff, right? And I didn't even realize I was already doing the stuff until I came into this world. So I'm a top producer in real estate in my market. And I just have an innate love of people, right? So I sell a lot of houses. And I remember one year I sold 72 houses, right? And I don't have a huge team, but I do have a team behind me. We're going to talk about that when we talk about, well, how do you build profitable business? It's all in team, right? So uh I had the team. I was doing it on my own before. I did BPOs on my own, broker price opinions on my own. Then I hired a team and they got behind it. Then that became a department in my company, which was actually one of my vision, right? So we were talking about vision as well. One of the visions of my company was to build that department separate from real estate sales, right? And I ended up building it because of a crashed economy. It actually forced me to pivot into building something different because real estate sales was on the low. There wasn't money moving, money wasn't moving. The government like shut that down. And so I created a new division, and that was always on my vision board though. Always on my vision board, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. I never knew how it was going to happen. So here's another side note. Don't be attached to what it gets to look like. Once we create what we're about to create in your business, don't be attached to what it gets to look like. The key is to have a vision, starting with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. If anybody comes to coach with me, that's the first place I go, starting with the end in mind. What are we creating, right? And we don't get to be attached to it, but we get to still have it because it's going to be our lighthouse. It's going to be, a lighthouse, if you're familiar with a lighthouse, you always see that light that's like flashing around, flashing around, flashing around, and it hits the water at a certain point, and then in certain areas you have darkness, and then it turns again and it hits the water, and then you have light again. That's how a vision is, right? The vision is the lighthouse that takes you right into what you say you want to. It takes you to that goal. It takes you to what you say you want, right? So anyway, I did the 72 deals, and I couldn't figure out, well, what did I do to create 72 deals? I had a vision to step into something new, and I won't go into what that is because I know I'm sidetracking a lot right now, but I want to give you examples. I had a vision as to what I wanted to step into, the lifestyle that I wanted to step into. And in order to do that, I got to create a system. I had to have the vision, create a system, hire a team, right, to support that vision. So I couldn't do it on my own. I was doing it on my own all those years until I figured out, but through the help of one of my coaches, that I get to leverage. So write that word down, leverage. Leverage is a huge word that you get to implement into your life, not just your business, by the way, into your life. Leverage is team. Okay. So, like I said before, most people go into business with the wrong mindset about what they need to get versus what they get to give. So this is where I'm going to introduce one of my favorite books that I'm now rereading for this year. It's called The Go Giver. So write that down, The Go Giver. And in that book, it's going to show you how really thinking about your customer and your clients from a different perspective, not from a getting perspective, but from a given perspective, is literally going to translate your money into astronomical amounts once you have that vision. Astronomical amounts. I remember one time, and let me show you how this works, right? I remember one time I was getting so many, I was having so many closings, y'all. I wasn't even cashing the checks. Until my assistant said to me, she used to have to remind me to cash checks. I kid you not. Remind me to cash checks. Who does that? Right? And then the companies that were giving me the checks, they were like calling her to ask her, why am I not cashing the checks? And back then I had a scarcity mindset. So one of the reasons I wasn't cashing the check was because I didn't want to pay all these taxes in the same year. And not knowing that actually putting the money in and actually claiming the taxes and claiming the deductions was actually helping me to pay less taxes. Go figure. So I just wanted to share that side note. Because we do have a scarcity mindset, which is actually part of the things that stops us from creating purpose-driven money. Right? All right. So we're going to move on to another piece of vision, which is, what is your FIN number? What do I mean by what is your FIN number? Your FIN number is your financial independence number. So once you figure out the vision, right, the purpose of the money, once you figure that out, which is bigger, includes your financial independence number. The financial independence number is a number that actually you need for your everyday needs, right? So you see how I'm switching now from the vision piece, which is the big thing. What's that thing you want the money for? Who do you want to serve beyond you? Right? Now I'm coming back to how you get to take care of yourself. Because at the end of the day, you got to take care of yourself in order to meet that big vision, right? So what is your financial independent number? I'm gonna align it to your paycheck, but not really, because your financial independent number actually includes the amount of money you want to save as well, and the amount of money you want to invest. So your financial independent number is a number that you get to sit down now and write this down. Write down your car expense, your insurance expense, your healthcare expense, your food expense, your housing expense, your fitness expense, your self-care expense, how much you want to save, how much you want to use in entertainment, all those numbers, all those numbers. And if you would like a cheat sheet on that, put it in the chat so I could see. And I'll make a list for you and I'll send it to you after. I didn't think of that, but I know I have one, so I could just pull it and send it to you in an email once we're complete with this masterclass. So write all that down. Write all those numbers down. So that's the amount of, and do it by year. So don't do it by the week because you want to get a full number for the year. So you see how much money you need so remember, notice my language. It's how much money you need for the year. Nobody does this, which is why I'm teaching it, right? And well, somebody does it. One of my business partners, she does it. Her name is Lisa Williams. We always do workshops together because we are affiliated to support anybody, but we are focused on females. We're supporting them with creating financial freedom, becoming their own bank. So if you're interested in that as well, I invite you to take in one of our workshops. Actually, she has one next week. So if you're interested in that, put it in the chat and I'll hook you up and I'll get you the access for the next workshop so that you can hear about that. So she talks about the FIN number as well. And that FIN number you do for the year so that you know, okay, this is the amount of money that I will need for me and my family to get through the year with housing, with cars, with, I'm repeating again, insurance, with healthcare, with personal care, self-care, with fitness, with food, with entertainment, with insurance, right? Housing insurance and car insurance, don't forget. Okay. So once you have that number, now you know at a minimum, at a minimum, this is the number that you need for yourself and your family. Now, let me ask you a question. How does it feel to have that number to look at? How does that feel? I want you to put a feeling on it. Because here's the thing, guys. Freedom Lifestyle Masterclass. Yes, I hope that you're having a feeling of freedom. Because once you know you have something to look at, it's kind of freeing, right? There's not so much stress. Now you know what to expect of yourself to create that amount of money, right? You see where that's giving the money purpose as well? The purpose driven part is the part that's juicy, and on top of that, right? Now when you make more money, on top of that, you can give more, right? Because remember, you have your savings included in that fin number. The savings is already included. So everything else is a matter of what you want to do. What do you want to do with it? You want to give it, right? And how much do you want to give? You want to help you want to help build wells in Africa? You know, I was talking to a lady earlier today. Her company is a not-for-profit, and they're doing phenomenal work with supporting entrepreneurs building businesses. They have angel investors, they have grant programs, they have all kinds of stuff. And they're able to do that because they have excess. They created more. They created more money so that they can do more with it. Not just me, myself, my four, and no more. All right. So do you have the FIN number? Do you have your FIN number? Do you have your FIN number? Okay, great. All right. So we're going to move it right along. So you have a vision for the money. Yes, I have a vision for the excess. So I gave you how to create the money that takes care of you, right? Now, what's the vision for the rest of the money that you say you want? Because here's what I know. If you're on this masterclass, you have said, I want to be a millionaire. Yes, you've said that. And I'm sure, I'm positive, I don't care if you're a millionaire already. I'm positive your FIN number was not $1 million. Right? So, what is your vision for the rest of that cash outside of your FIN? What's the vision for that? That's the purpose-driven part. The big piece. What does that money get to do? You know what just came to me too? I bet you that's the reason, that's one of the reasons, because if money has no purpose, that's one of the reasons people lose money. Think about all the people who won the lottery. Think about that. They won the lottery. Yay. And then what happened? At least 95% of them lose all of it or use up all of it. Not very well, by the way, using it up, doing all kinds of things that don't support other human beings in the world. And they are broke in 2 to 5 years. You can go look it up. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up. Broke within 2 to 5 years. Why? Because they did not give the money purpose. They did not have a vision for the money. when they want it. And I'm sure they didn't have a vision to win in it either. They just, was going to the shop, giving the dollar. I know people who've done that for 40, 50 years, never won a thing. Again, no vision. Bible says without a vision, the people perish. They don't literally die, right? But something dies within them. So lottery winners are that's a perfect example of people who have not given money vision and purpose, because they always lose it. Always lose it. And I'll share with you one more. I was reading a book, I forgot the name of the book, and it was talking about this woman. She was rich, but she wasn't rich because of herself. It was because her husband was a great philanthropist and entrepreneur. So when he passed away, she had a great inheritance. And she would say all the time, she would say, "Oh my gosh, this is so burdensome. I wish I could live in a car." By the way, that's her vision. So you know what happened? Guess what happened? In around 2 to 3 years after her husband died, she ended up living in a car. She lost everything. Everything. So this is why I'm telling you guys, vision is so powerful, super powerful, that it's not to be ignored anymore. I'm going to invite you into stop ignoring your vision. Stop ignoring it. If you are really serious about creating a world and a life that you love with time and money freedom, you no longer have the blessing of ignoring your vision. That's not a blessing. You can't anymore. Not with how this world is going. Yes? Okay. So you have a vision for the money, right? And let me see what's next. Now that you've had your money vision, let's talk about what's in the way, right? Because up until now you have not gotten everything that you said you want. So something is in the way of that. Something is in the way of that. And one of the things we get to do is figure out what that is so that we can build from there, right? Because here's the thing. If you know my world, if you know my world of transformation, we have this thing called a pile. And the pile goes something like this. Anything that's getting in our way that we don't take care of, it piles up. And the more it piles up, it's the harder it is for us to move forward. It's the same thing with money blocks. The more they pile up, it's the harder it is for you to move forward. And so one of the things that is in the way is your communication. Your communication blocks you from seeing what's getting in the way of your money. Hang on one second. Your communication blocks you from seeing what's getting in the way of your money. So here's the thing. When you don't know how to communicate with your team, with your family, with your other entrepreneurs that support your business, that is part of your money block. But where does that come from? Where does that come from? That actually comes from your historic knowledge of how you were brought up, the environment you were brought up in, how you were spoken to, what was spoken about money, how your culture talked about money, what you saw your parents say about money. All of that is included in your communication, how you communicate around money, how you communicate with yourself around money, right? So I'm going to invite you into just taking a few minutes and writing down what you used to hear about money in your household. What did you used to hear about money in your household? Because if we don't get past all that, actually going back to vision and purpose is going to be very difficult. right? So just take a minute and write down all the stories that you can think of. And I'm going to say, just think of 1 to 5 stories that you've heard about money in your household as you were growing up, whether it's in your house, your church, in school, whatever it is, whatever you can remember when you were growing up, what was the thing that you heard about money? Write it down. I want you to really write it down. I'm going to give you 1 minute to do that. And then we're going to move on to the next one. Gosh, an hour. Okay. My eyes have been bothering me, so. All right. So once you have all that down, I want you to really think about how that is affecting your life right now. Where do you see those stories showing up in your life and your business right now? Where do you see those showing up? And write that down as well. Because I want you to look at it, right? I don't want you to keep it in your head. I want you to write it down. There is something that happens. There's a connection that happens for you when you literally write things down so that you can see it with your eyes, right? There's something that happens in the subconscious that supports. Okay. And now let's take it to another level because as I said earlier before, I used the word leverage. Leverage is team building. That's how you build a profitable business, a profitable small business. You get to hire team. And how you hire team is you get to know who you are in the business first before you can hire teams to support the things that you don't like to do. So the other piece of this is I'm going to invite you into writing down all the things that you do in your business. So first we start with communication. That's the first thing. Find all the stories that are in there that are preventing you from moving forward that you didn't even see up until now. And then once you have that, now you know what communication looks like. You can communicate better with your team as you're building your team because now you know, right? And so now I want you to think of all the things you already have team members, all the things that do not work in your communication based on what we just did, all the things that don't work. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. Anything that doesn't work in your communication is not going to work in your team building because again, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And it's not happening just with the team member. It's happening everywhere in your space. If you only took the time to look. And I'm here to share with you that that is possible to change. You just got to learn a few things about yourself in order to communicate better, to build a better team. And once you build that team, then that team is going to be able to duplicate you. And that's how you become profitable. You get to be the CEO. You get to take off hats that you've been wearing all these years. I had to take off hats that I was wearing all these years. You know, as a real estate broker, I started out on my own. I used to do everything, every piece of paper I took care of until I hired team members who now take care of that. Today, if you ask me how to enter a listing into a MLS, I probably wouldn't know how to do it because they probably changed the MLS 3 times or 4 times since I've hired a team member to do that for me. Right? That's the power of leverage. Now you can get your time back. Once you have your team built, you can get your time back and do the things, i.e., the bigger things, the bigger vision, the bigger purpose, building wells in Africa, you know, building a non-for-profit for teenagers, whatever that looks like for you. Now you have time to go ahead and do those things if that's your dream. And if your dream is to go travel, well, now you have time to go travel because now you've built teams to take off and you get to take off the hat and they get to put it on so that you can go have more space, more time. You see how that works? It's really very simple, but it just takes a matter of unlocking for yourself and hearing this so that you can unlock. Right? And now once you build that team, now there are mini yous going around doing all the things that you used to do, right? Now your company becomes super, super, super efficient. They become super customer oriented because now you're not the one doing everything, getting upset when you're not when things aren't working your way, right? Now you're able to serve people with joy. Your team is able to serve people with joy, and that builds credibility in your community. And now you start getting more referrals. Now your business starts getting momentum. Now people keep coming and asking for, hey, I want this company to work for me. I want this company to work with me. Now you're able to build and grow and expand and create that time and money freedom. Do you see how that works? But it's all a matter of taking it piece by piece, making the adjustments piece by piece, and then moving all the things out the way that are getting in your way. Those little things, and making the little things bigger in a different way, bigger service, bigger impact, right? Whether you're a brick and mortar or you're a coach or whatever that is. So at the end of the day, guys, this all boils down to you and how you are showing up to create these results. So I didn't have time to go through all of the things, the layers in this masterclass. So I'm going to invite you to really take on and do the exercises that we talked about here today. Do the communications exercise, right? Do the money blocks exercise and really peel back and see where the money block started in communication, how money was communicated to you. Go back and do the vision exercise. Start with the end in mind, go back and do the FIN number, have your FIN number so that you're not stressed out, thinking that you don't have enough money. You always have enough money. There's abundance of money all around. You just have to make sure that you know what your number is. And once you know what your number is, you build on that. That's purpose-driven money. Now you can be a bigger impact, right? But at the end of the day, you are it. Nobody else. You're it. So, who do you get to be in your world so that you can create purpose-driven money and a team that supports that vision for yourself? Who do you get to be? Because it can't be the same person you've been up until today. It just won't work. You can't expect anything different doing the same things every day. So my invitation to you is to do the work. And I'm going to go back to this quote by Benjamin Hardy. And I'm going to say to you again, to have what you want, you must give up what's holding you back. To have what you want, you must give up what's holding you back. It's time. It's time for you to make a different choice. It's time for you to get the support you need. You know, I always tell when I'm coaching and mentoring, I always ask this question. I'm going to ask it to you. Can you see yourself? Oh, and I do a Dare to Trust workshop as well. That goes really powerfully deep into. We have a 2-hour workshop that we really unpack this piece for people. But I ask you today, can you see yourself? And if you're saying yes, because you're looking in a mirror, I'm going to say to you, I beg to differ. I beg to differ because the thing The thing you're seeing in the mirror is only a reflection of your cells. It's not you. You are a being in a body, a spiritual being in a body with a mind. So you can't see yourself outside of experiences of your own experiences and other people's experiences of you. So you needed somebody like me to come to you today to tell you these are the things that are holding you back in your communication, in your vision, your lack of vision, in you not leveraging yourself and taking off hats that you no longer need to carry, that you're afraid of letting go because of your control. And it's time. It's time for you to do something different, to get something different. So, with that said, I'm going to invite you into my offer today, which is a 1-year mastermind. And your investment would be $497 per month for 1 year. In that mastermind, you're going to have group accountability in a Facebook group where like-minded female entrepreneurs will get together, will be in the group, will communicate, will empower each other, will cheer each other on, celebrate each other's wins, hold each other accountable for what we say we want. In that group, we're gonna have vision casting. And I'm actually gonna bring in a friend of mine who does vision workshops. I'm gonna bring her in because she's super powerful. I could do it myself, but she's really good. She's gonna come in and she's gonna do all the vision casting for the rest of the year. And we're going to take that on, hold each other accountable in that group. We're going to have bi-weekly Zoom trainings. You're going to have me training you, and I'm going to bring in other speakers to come in and train. And then we're also going to have an annual mastermind in person, as long as we don't have COVID. We're going to have an in-person mastermind. I'm thinking maybe down in the fourth quarter is what I'm thinking, that we're going to do that. And you're going to have access to other things that I have going on, and I'll bring things into you. But for right now, this mastermind is solely for those people who take action right now. And if you're listening on the replay, I'm going to leave it up for a minute so that you can have the opportunity to come in and join us. 1 year, $497 per month, group accountability in Facebook, bi-weekly Zoom meetings with guest speakers and an annual mastermind at the fourth quarter of this year. So if you're you can put it in the chat, or I'm going to send you out this recording and you can send me back an email with a yes, and we can get started. I intend to start this mastermind next week, so you don't have a lot of time. I'm going to start this mastermind next week, and we're going to get started right away with vision casting. So today you get to be a yes to yourself. This is not about me. This is about you and creating the life that you say you want, creating purpose-driven money to do the things that you say you want to do outside of just taking care of yourself, and to make an impact in the world. And when you have me in this mastermind, you're also going to be able to create the time and money freedom that you say that you want. Okay, that's about it for today. I hope this masterclass has been supportive for you. I hope that you found and heard some things that you can implement. Go back and listen to the recording when I send it out. You're going to have more ahas. Here's the thing. What I do when I coach with these millionaires, I go back and listen over and over and over again to the trainings, because there's always something that I didn't hear at the time I was listening live that makes a difference, a huge difference for me later on. So I'm going to invite you to do the same thing. When I send this out, listen to the whole thing. It's only an hour. Go ahead, do the exercises, see what comes up for you. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and I will reach back to you and support you in any way I can. All right. Thank you for being here. Love you. You guys are amazing. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.